Good morning, everyone. It is not morning, it is evening. I'm just an idiot.
I'm not a smart man.
But this is the Holy Ghost Rider, and we are actually leaving my place of work. And I'm actually heading over to Best Buy to fulfill my promise of better audio. Because after, playing back, editing, looking at the footage and everything. My camera's great, my audio is trash. So we're gonna work on that. To those of you who did watch my last video, I just want to say thank you for that. Really is makes me hopeful for the future of what I'm doing here. And we're about to hop on the highway here. I think with my ride to Best Buy, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna give you a little bit more of my backstory, especially as it pertains to my faith. So once I get on the highway here, I will begin that that story. We'll go on this journey together. I just prefer to get on the highway in peace, you know what I'm saying? I grew up as a preacher's son, and all the challenges and joys that that brings. And, I never had any doubts, and I've just been perfect my entire life, That's just how it goes when you're a preacher's son.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
I'm just kidding. Actually, when I was getting into my teen years, I started to really have doubts about the whole, not even just Christianity, but the whole there being a God thing. That was something that I really struggled with because I felt that I couldn't talk to anyone about it. My dad's the preacher. How's that going to make him look? And I'm obviously not going to blame my father for that, but just kind of giving you the insight of a 14-year-old preacher's son, how they might feel when their father is in such a prominent position within the church. The feeling, at least for me, again, was that I don't have anyone to talk about this with. And so I didn't. I just kind of went about my life, and doubts turned into, really a militant atheism. I think part of it, we were getting into some rebellion type thing, as teenagers do. And I really just, I fell away completely. Not only did I just fall away, I was actively, anti-Christian, as many atheists, especially atheists from my origin story, I'll say it like a villain origin story, but atheists from my origin story tend to go that route where it's just like, no, you're stupid. There's no God, you idiot. And we're saying this as like a 16-year-old.
Oh, gosh. No, I never learned that. I never learned that. What did I miss? Please, no. Oh my gosh, was I sick? No.
I went through all of my teen years being pretty much a non-believer. And it wasn't until about, I'd say probably 2019, when I was 19 years old, that I started, to come around. I kind of went from atheist to agnostic, and then from agnostic to, I guess you'd call it like a deist. So it's like I believe that there was a God, but I was like, I still don't know about this whole Christianity thing. Eventually, I did get to the point where I was like, okay, yeah, it's there is a God. It is the Christian God. But I'm still not on fire about it. So for a little bit, I'd say for a good few years, I was a believer in the Christian God. But I was not really doing anything about it. And it probably wasn't until 2022 when I moved to Nashville. Nashville was not on my short list of places that I wanted to move. I actually wanted to move back to where I was born, which is South Dakota. And you might be thinking that's weird, but if you're thinking that's weird, you've definitely never seen southwestern South Dakota, because it is absolutely in the top 5 most beautiful places on the planet if you like mountains, which I do. I love mountains. So I was trying to move out to South Dakota, and just, man, no matter how many jobs I applied for, no one would, like, I just never heard anything back. And so my brother, he had moved down to Nashville and, you know, said, hey man, why don't you just move down here? You know, you'll have a place to stay. You know, it's a cool place. I think you'll like it. So that's what I did. I applied for a couple jobs down there, heard back from both. I took one of them, and I moved down to Nashville. I started going to this church called North Boulevard, and this is actually where my brother was working. And this church was absolutely amazing. It is the best church I've ever been to. So if you're ever in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, definitely go check out North Boulevard, and go to the West Campus. West Campus is best campus. Don't tell East. But while I was there, I started to really come into my own with my faith, and I really just felt the energy there, felt the excitement and the mission. That's what really got me back into the faith. And I was so moved by, you know, what I was experiencing there, that I was like, I gotta help contribute somehow. I gotta, like, prevent teenagers from becoming what I became. I ended up teaching the youth group for a whole class series. I entitled the series, I'm an Atheist, Changed My Mind. And the whole premise of the class was like a debate. Me role-playing as my teenage self, being the atheist, and the kids, you know, just trying to tell me why I'm wrong. And I gave them a rule. I said, you can use any argument that you want, except you cannot use the Bible to prove that God exists. And they're like, what? Why can't we do that? You know? What that, you know, that's what we're about. And I say, you're right, the Bible is great. But you know what an atheist thinks of the Bible? They don't care. The Bible is as much of a piece of fiction to them as Lord of the Rings. I kind of explained it to them. You know, you're not going to believe the Quran just because someone quoted the Quran to you. So why would you believe the Bible just because the Bible was quoted to you? And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Ended up being a fantastic class. I think the kids really learned how to interact with their average atheist classmate or the like. And it was great because I was able to, you know, tell these kids, like, hey, if you're having these feelings, you are not alone. Like, I have been there, and I have made it, yeah, I've made it out. So if you want to talk about it, you know, come talk to me about it. I will not judge you. You know, it is perfectly okay to have doubts. Even Thomas, who was part of Jesus' ministry, had doubts. He had to feel the wounds. We don't have that. We don't have the wounds to feel. We just have to do it. You know, we just have to, you know, find our own ways of coming to believe. After that, I realized, like, there's really nothing here for people in my situation. I was 23 years old at this point, and I had been at the church for a year, and it seemed like every small group was just college, married with young children, married with teenage children, married for 57 years. You know, they probably didn't literally have a 57-year marriage class, but just getting my point across that there was a whole bunch of stuff if you were married or you're in college or you were a teenager, but there was nothing if you were 23 years old, single, and dropped out of college like me. And I brought this to the attention of the church, and this is part of why this church is so amazing. They heard what I had to say, and a few weeks after I brought it up, they come to me and they say,
I got you, homie.
hey, we looked into it. You're right. We don't have anything for you. We would like to start it. Will you lead it? And I was like, oh, I'm not really trying to lead it. I want there to be it. And they were like, yeah, we think you'd be a great fit to lead this class. So, let us know. And I said, all right, well, I'll need to think about that and pray on it. And, I did take that time, and it's kind of an Isaiah 6:8 moment. If you don't know Isaiah 6:8, it reads as, and I heard the voice of the Lord call out, whom shall go for us? Whom shall I send? And I said, here am I, send me. All right, well, sorry about that. Had to run in and get the next upgrade to the channel. Got the mic. It's not on yet, as you can clearly tell, because I am still in the Best Buy parking lot. As I was saying, though, it really was like a Isaiah 6:8 moment where, send me, and that's what I ended up having to do. Not having to do it, I was happy to. The very first class, there were like 15 that showed up. There was some pretty decent marketing from the church about what we were about to do. And that first class, it was kind of awkward. And I knew from the beginning that I didn't want it to be, some stodgy, lecture-y type class. I wanted us to all, become friends and, become a community. It might have been a fault of my own with the first class, because the first class I straight up went in there and I made a point of it. I was like, I'm going in there, no game plan. We're gonna do this. We'll do it live.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
So I went in there with absolutely no game plan. I was like, we're just gonna get to know each other this first class. And in theory, that's awesome. But it ended up being kind of awkward. I kind of realize now that I probably should have some type of structure if I'm ever put in that position again, especially for a first class. Now, moving forward, I did have some structure. The first 30 minutes of it was like, we're chilling, we're eating some food. It was just kind of like a hangout for the first 30 minutes. In the second 30 minutes, we would actually get into, the substantial stuff, the lessons. And I talked about a number of things, but I really enjoyed doing that. And it was a blast because I feel like, we created something at that church that I still don't see a lot of other churches doing, which is just a young adults class. I think it's a very overlooked age group. It eventually came to my attention that my wife absolutely did not want to live in Nashville anymore.
I hate it here.
And so we had to move, and we decided to move to where I did most of my growing up, the Dayton, Ohio region. And it's been nice. It's been nice. It's rent's a little bit cheaper, gas is a little bit cheaper, and it's definitely not as crowded or busy. All of that. But we do still want to make the move out to Rapid City, South Dakota, like I was talking about earlier, just because we love it so much. Truly, if you have not been, I highly recommend going out there because, my goodness, there's just nowhere else like it. There's just nowhere else like it. It is absolutely beautiful. And there are other beautiful parts of the country and of the world as well. But this place just has a special place in my heart. Probably because I was born there. That makes sense. But yeah, that's pretty much my story. You know, from a teenage angsty atheist to a uh, a guy in his 20s. You know, just trying to do the best he can. You know, I'm not perfect and I never will be. Uh, but I guess all that to say that if you're having those doubts, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told those kids. If you're having doubts, if you're having questions, that's perfectly okay. You are allowed to. You are allowed to have doubts. And you should ask those questions and you should talk to someone about it. If you don't feel comfortable talking to someone in your immediate circle, find someone that you are comfortable with. You know, even if it has to be, you know, kind of a couple tiers removed from your inner circle for you to feel comfortable about it, you definitely should. You are going to feel better that you talked about it, whichever outcome it is. Now, I hope that the outcome is that, you know, your questions are answered and, you know, you continue to accept Christ. But if the outcome is that you do fall away, you know, I hate that. It hurts my soul. And I hope that one day you return. But I do think that you're going to feel better knowing that you tried. And I tell you what, the people around you who are still Christians, they're never going to stop trying to get you back. And it's going to be annoying. And it's going to feel awkward. But just know that they're doing it from a place of love. It's not a hatred or something that they do just to annoy you. Now, those people absolutely need to approach it with grace and understanding and try to, you know, do it in a gentle way. So I'm not going to excuse anyone that's getting real militant with you just because you're in a different opinion or a different mindset, because that's absolutely not right either, and that's not what we're called to do as Christians. Okay, well, I was really hesitating to go there because I wasn't sure if these people were going to or not, and as soon as I decided to, so did they. You'll feel better regardless. And I think if you do open yourself up to ask those questions and to, you know, try to get answers, chances are, you know, if you do that early on, you're not going to, I don't think that you're going to leave, as long as you got the right person answering those questions or addressing those concerns. Whew. You know, we have had just a couple of really nice days here in Dayton, Ohio. Nice, sunny, moderate temperature days. Really, you know, I am looking forward to being able to ride, you know, almost every day. But I will say I am absolutely not looking forward to the heat. Woo. It won't be as bad as that Nashville heat, though, I can tell you that. I'm really excited to have the new mics in the next video. You know, if it's nice out, if it's nice out tomorrow, I will be recording again. You're never gonna know when I recorded these videos because I might have to do it where I just film a ton, and so that way I have something to post throughout the winter. Because I would like to be somewhat consistent in my uploads throughout the winter. I might try to do like my maintenance during the winter, so that way I have something to do while I talk. Because I've never been one that can just sit in front of a camera and talk. And I know that sounds ironic because I'm sitting in front of a camera and talking. But think about it. I'm actually doing something. I am doing something except for just sitting at a desk complaining on the internet. Well, I guess I haven't really been complaining. We'll get to that. Don't worry. Alright, so I want your guys' opinion on this, my fellow riders. Do y'all pull into the intersection when you're trying to turn left and it's green? Because I do that in my car, but I just can't bring myself to do it on the bike. Just seems a lot more dangerous that way. In the car, I'm like, man, You know, you can hit me. It's cool. I'll live. Insurance will pay out. But on this, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna live. Please don't hit me. Just try to. I just try to keep it safe, man. You gotta ride like you're invisible. No one can see you, and if they do see you, they're actively trying to kill you. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, I do want to stress again, you know, to watch this channel, I mean, you know, you don't got to be like dripping in holy water to watch this channel. You can be just a normal guy or girl. You know, we're all just friends here. Don't even stress about it. Don't even stress about it. But once again, I want to say thank you for tuning in to another video. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And this has been the Holy Ghost Rider. Have a nice day.